Hi there.
Welcome to Grace Street.
Yes.
What a wonderful audience we have today.
We do.
Let's welcome everybody. Come on, welcome your friends, the neighbors. Great to have all of you here. This is an amazing week, and Jonathan Cahn, Rabbi, is back in the house with us.
Love you, Rabbi. So great to have you.
And his sidekick today,
I love it.
Hubie Sin,
great.
is in the house.
Love
Isn't it amazing? I don't know, your book may not even been published if it wasn't for Hubie. And your meeting, he was prophesying to you. He's the airport prophet.
That's right. He's the man in the airport that the Lord used in a supernatural encounter. The week I finished The Harbinger, had no idea what was going to happen. And that was the encounter, which actually mirrored what was in the book, what was in the book about this encounter. And the Lord, the rest was history or prophecy.
Yeah.
With him, yeah. It's amazing.
Hubie, did you ever think you were going on a trip, but did you ever think you were starting this trip that you're on and been on ever since?
Never could have guessed it. Never.
Neither of us wanted to be on that plane because we had to get at the airport at 3 a.m. Each of us did not want to be there, and little did we know
what God had.
Little did we know
what God had. For all of us, we are the ones that benefit from that meeting that God had for you two men of God. And thank you for being obedient to the Lord. And thank you for speaking out the truth of Him, of God. It's so great.
By God's grace. And I think among the other reasons the Lord did this, so we will always know, this is my work, the Lord. It would not have happened without Him doing it. This is Him doing it. We always know that. We cannot get, God put His fingerprint that He did.
Hubie, you didn't know who Rabbi was sitting in that airport, did you?
I knew of him because I used to listen to him in the 80s.
Didn't know what I looked like.
Didn't know what he looked like or anything.
So you only heard my voice.
You didn't know who this person really was.
I had no idea who he was. To me, he was just a Jewish rabbi. That's.
Wait, how do you know I was a rabbi? I mean, the Jewish part I can see.
The Jewish man, we'll put it that way.
But when God began to speak to you about Him, doesn't that scare you to go to a stranger and start saying things about them?
It terrifies me because as I was speaking with some people backstage, that's not my character. My character is to kind of be more by myself. So actually to go out and to speak to a stranger, it's kind of not in myself. That's how I know it's God working through me.
Rabbi, why do you think God did that?
Well, one is, and Hubie was not supposed to be on my plane. It was the rain that forced him on my plane, But I believe, I was led to do the Harbinger, and then finally came the week that it was finished. I didn't know what to do. And people were saying, you got to do this, you got to brand yourself, you got to make yourself known. I said, we're not doing that. And I really had a burden that morning just to surrender the whole thing to the Lord. And that's what I did at that prayer in the airport. I just surrendered it. Lord, this is you have to do that. So I believe it's one is the Lord's putting His fingerprint saying, this is mine, not yours, and I'm going to do it my way. And this was all from me from the beginning, but I'm going to do this. And also, He had His plans for the future, also with Hubie and all those things. God's saying, it's mine. I do it my way, and I don't need your thing. I don't need agents. I don't need even publishers.
Wow.
I did in the Bible. I didn't have publishers. I just did it. So God's saying, this is mine. Everything that happens from here on in, this is me. Yeah. This is me.
But the amazing thing is that these books so far have been bestsellers on the New York Times bestseller list.
That's right.
100 weeks, if my mind serves me correctly, and millions of books, which is impossible almost in this day and age.
I think also the Lord likes blowing us away too.
Yeah,
he likes to say, whoa, look,
Yeah.
I'm powerful. I'm the same. So the Lord's saying that it's Him, totally Him. And the best things happen that way.
And your life has been supernatural before that, of course, but it's ever after. Your steps are just, you end up at in D.C., you end up at the monuments of the Capitol building,
and the United Nations.
In the United Nations in New York.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. so many things have taken place. God spoke to you about the Shemitah, and then we had the number 7. And I just noticed again, I looked out here and saw Pam and Happy.
How are you guys doing? It's great to have you. They had the cow.
They are from Texas, and they have a small ranch there, and there's Shemitah right there on the screen right now. And so you have, I was going to say you have given birth to, but the thing that was so amazing was there was a cow born
on the opening
of Shemitah when it was announced on the Shemitah.
Yeah.
But it was born literally a few days before, but it's
the other one.
The other one.
So on the day of the Shemitah, the image of the other cow went forth to America on the opening day, and then this cow was born on that day.
But your cow was born. You called it Shemitah. You actually named it Shemitah.
Yeah, Shemitah.
And it was born on the exact day of the Shemitah, right?
Yeah, September
the opening day,
25th.
And you didn't realize it except you had watched the show, right?
Right.
Yeah, we saw it that night, just flipping channels and saw Jonathan on there with the black and white calf with the 7 on his forehead.
Right.
And so God sends 2. Is that biblical to send 2 witnesses on something?
2 witnesses, yeah. Everything will be confirmed by 2, always. With the harbinger, with the pronouncing of Isaiah 9:10, it was always 2 or 3. With that, it was American leaders, but God always does that.
Yes, He
does. And before this is all over, I'll have another revelation about the Shemitah, about what's happening now, something, and also another thing from the harbinger that that things have happened that are very, very big.
That's great.
So Pam, when you saw your cow with the 7 on it, what did you first think?
Well, it's strange looking.
You never had a cow with 7 before, did you?
No. In
Look,
fact,
if that's a 7, I want to tell you. And you were part of something that God's trying to say to America.
Right.
So much has happened in the Shemitah. And, but you have more cattle. You're raising cattle, I guess.
Right.
I guess you had several more born recently, right?
Right. We had.
You're in Gatesville.
Right.
And
we had we had a black bull born, and we had to have a name for it.
Yes.
And we thought about Zach.
Look at that.
You named the bull Zach? Oh, that's funny.
Congratulations, Zach.
That's great. There's me.
And there's Shemitah looking at Zach there.
That's great.
Look at that shot there. With the 7 and
then we had another one, and we named it Shasha because it was
So you named her Shasha.
Oh my goodness.
No way.
Oh, that is so cute.
oh my land.
You guys are famous.
This is
Sasha. Oh my God.
We wanted to do something for her.
Congratulations,
Zach.
your parents.
Now
You're blushing. Somebody's blushing, everybody.
you guys are
right
really
now.
famous now.
Yeah, I've never.
made it.
That was one of the things I just never thought was going to happen. Named after a cow. That's neat.
Boy, you don't get Zach.
That's so
That was
funny.
Well, there'll be some more, calves born, and we'll be looking for names. So you never know.
Just keep moving down the set.
Oh, man.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's great.
You know,
You don't want to get too close to them, though. You don't want to get to know them too well because they're Zach and Sasha.
I know it's going to be. We will have to keep them.
That's what I'm sitting there thinking, are you going to keep or are you going to butcher it? I mean, I am a big fan of steak, but I don't know if I'd want to eat the cow that's named after me.
We'll try to keep these.
Okay, that's
That is so funny. I'm sitting here thinking, as we're up here thinking, now prophetically, I wonder what Hubie's thinking about this. God, what is
What does this mean,
what is he
Hubie?
thinking to Hubie right now about this whole situation? Oh, man, you don't have to answer.
I don't know if this is prophetic or not.
It makes good TV, though. This is great. I'm going to tell you. Wow.
Down in Gatesville, Texas, you got to go visit your
famous.
family.
Yeah,
You're very
you gotta take a trip of it.
Rabbi, I was watching our own network that we were running some rerun over the weekend of some of your programming and some different prophecy things and all. And you were talking about the Shemitah, and you were going through some of the things that had happened. And most people don't understand. In fact, your book was about the Shemitah. And you were talking about literally the trillions of dollars that was lost as that Shemitah began.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the predominant pattern of the Shemitah, as if you read the book, that goes to the last century, happened, continued totally. What happened, among other, there's so much, but one of them was, it was the worst year for the stock market in 7 years since the last Shemitah. First time it crashed into the red since the last Shemitah. It was the collapse of global trade, the worst collapse, the only collapse since the last Shemitah. Collapse of commodities since the last Shemitah. Collapse of oil since the last Shemitah. Collapse all over. It was the worst year for making money since 1937, in 78 years since the Shemitah of the Depression. That's how much it was. It was also, when you look at the greatest day crashes in history, 20% of them happened in 2015. 20% of the worst in all of modern history. So so there's a whole. I mean, I think we're going to put like 4 more chapters in the book because it totally did that. It wasn't the end of the world. We weren't expecting the end of the world. We never said that. But it was absolutely the pattern that God is in charge of all things. It was the worst year. Everything was 7, 7, 7. Worst year for the Baltic Dry Index, which is trade, since it existed. So there was a giant, and some things we have not recovered. And by the way, we have not even recovered from the Shemitah of 2008 because the world growth has, since that, it was been paralyzed. These have been the worst years of growth since the last Shemitah, even before this, in the history of modern times. We have never recovered from it to this day.
And you don't know who's lying. This is the era of the lies. That's what the Bible says would happen in the last days. And people would believe the lies.
Yeah, one of the things, and this is not to get political, but, in the Obama years, the growth has been as bad as almost anything, and yet the media doesn't speak about it. The growth was better during the Bush years, and yet they attacked Bush all the time over the economy, before that. So it actually is one of the worst times in the overall economy, absolutely, throughout the world.
It's horrible, and people just go on because we print money. And you think, well, we just can keep on printing money.
That's right.
But you can't just keep printing money.
No. Because you're just blowing a balloon up in the end.
That's right.
I had somebody 2 days ago was at the service, and a new Jewish believer came up to me and says, Rabbi, he said, is this true? I said, I was just reading the Bible. I don't really know the Bible, but it seems to say that if a nation follows God, it's going to be lending to the other nations, and it's not going to have debt. But if it turns against God, it's going to have debt. I said, does that make sense? I said, yeah, it does make sense. That's Deuteronomy 28. So, well, what about America then? I said, well, yep, America was the greatest creditor nation in world history in these last few decades, but it's been falling away from God. It turned from the greatest creditor nation to the greatest debtor nation, right? And this guy, he's just become a believer, and he saw that in Deuteronomy 28. But that's another sign.
Yeah.
The debt just keeps going up and up. It's a bad sign from the Lord.
And they're singing happy days are here again. It's a lie. And we're in the end of the age. Hubie,
Yes.
you're in finance. That's part of your ministry.
Yes.
And that's been your livelihood for a long time. And how long can a nation keep printing money, do you think?
I think it's until the point where the other countries that are lending us the money, until that starts to stop. And then, because there was a man named John Paul Jackson, and he referred, before he passed, to the commercial paper bubble. And we're definitely in that. And he said that there's a bubble and it's going to burst, because how long can you keep borrowing when you don't have assets? And I think that that's kind of where we're going right now, because we just print money and it just keeps going on and on and on. And I mean, it'd be great individuals if we could do that to pay our bills, but it doesn't work. So
Right.
I think that the more that we print money, the more it's being kind of, happy days are here again because there's more money, but it's not really worth what they're saying it's worth. So.
And the unemployment today, they give us numbers, but last week I was looking at the real numbers.
Yeah.
And I don't have them memorized. I don't know if you have them memorized or not. But unemployment is probably all-time worst, isn't it?
That's right.
Right,
yeah.
but
I have an article here from CSN News, and it's talking about how over 94 million people are not in the labor force. And it's talking about the certain age bracket of individuals that should be, working right now, over 93 million. But Michael Snyder brought us some new statistics, and he said, they're not adding up all the numbers. If you actually add up all the numbers, it's over 100 million people that are not currently employed, that should be.
Right, and the percentage that they give you, the percentage that we all hear about unemployment, that is all the people that are still on unemployment. So if you're unemployed for over a year and you fall off of the roll, they don't count you anymore.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's a very convenient way.
You're still unemployed, they just don't count you.
You're still unemployed, you just can't find a job, and they don't put that into the numbers. And then they also talk about jobs that are added. Well, you have to look at the quality of the jobs. Because I work with a very liberal person, and we discuss these things like unemployment is low, and I go, it's really not. I have older clients who can't find a job. And he goes, the Obama administration, not that I'm picking a side, the Obama administration, has this certain amount of jobs that they created. And I go, well, you have to kind of find out what kind of jobs they are. Are they fast food chain jobs? Are they delivery people? What's the quality of the jobs? Because the upper tier where you can make a decent living, the jobs aren't there anymore.
What does the Bible teach us about these times we're living in? Well, it says men will believe lies. Mm-hmm. And I mean, during this election, and we'll talk about it this week while you're here a little more, but I want to get to the new book real soon. But the lies that our country is founding itself on now, this is the foundation. Every day, new things come out. And people are saying, it's okay. It's all right that they lie to us, but it's not okay.
No, one of the signs of evil, the Bible says in the last days, evil shall increase. And one of the things of evil is falsehood or lies. And one of the things is also the rewriting of history, what we're watching. What Israel did when Israel fell away from God, they couldn't just say we're going away from God. They rewrote the history. Jeroboam set up these golden calves and said, here, Israel, this is your God who took you out of Egypt. I mean, he's rewriting, in other words, so now we can worship this God. Well, that's what America's doing. We're rewriting history as if we were always following evil. We were never a godly nation. We never followed God. We never worshiped. We never said this was a Christian nation. It's rewriting it. So if you simply stand for God, as America once did, then you are considered to be this crazy, intolerant. You're just causing trouble. Like when Ahab looked at Elijah and said, "You're a troublemaker, Elijah." And Elijah said, "No, you're the troublemaker. I'm following God. You're not." And so what we're doing is a rewriting. If you call evil good and good evil, you have to. If you want to change that, if you want to change where America's going, you have to rewrite the past. You want to change the present and the future, you have to rewrite the past. That's what they're doing. Right now. Of course, we're not getting political, but the president has made monuments. So, this is Stonewall is now an American monument where the gay advocacy movement began. Well, at the same time, so the monument, in ancient Israel, when they made monuments, it was a memorial. Just remember what God did for you. Set up these stones. Remember we're of God. Well, when you change the monuments, you're changing the memory of the nation. Wow. You're saying this is, and so on one hand, we're putting up monuments to that, to our fall from God. And meanwhile, we're taking down the monuments of God. We're taking down the Ten Commandments. We're taking down crosses. It's trying to rewrite when you rewrite the memory, then you've changed the nation. Yeah. That's what's going on right now.
ISIS today is calling for the taking down of all crosses. to break them.
Yeah. And it's no accident. You're taking down, we're watching those monuments go down while we're watching monuments to apostasy go up. That's not an accident.
Wow.
It happened in ancient Israel. They took down and they put up golden calves, because it's to rewrite the memory. When you rewrite your memory, that's why God says, remember who you are. Remember, and we are to affirm that. We are to declare that in the midst of apostasy.
We're reading every day of how they want to destroy every cross, everything about Jesus.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable what we hear and we see. And in the cover of their magazine, what was it they said about Jesus? That Jesus was a slave
to Allah, and that he's going to come back and say that he was always a prophet to Allah. And and it's on the front cover of their magazine.
The same magazine that they're destroying the crosses, and then they're tearing down. You know how we preserve beautiful things all over the world, like in Israel. Israel preserves everything about the history, even our history, the Christian history as well as the Jewish history, and yet we keep hearing about this wonderful, peaceful people. And yet, they're destroying all the statues, all of the buildings, all of the altars, all of the beautiful things, all of the history of the past, literally breaking it down. What does that say to us today? This really drives me crazy because I'm a preserver. If I buy a house, I fix it and make it better.
That's right.
And these are people that destroy everything.
Yes. Yeah. It is, remember in the Bible when there was revival, actually, they broke down the idols. That's the one thing. They broke down the idols. But this is the opposite.
Yes.
This and it, not only from the Islamic, the ISIS, but also from the secular America. It's destroy everything that is a reminder of God. Example, we took down the Ten Commandments. Why? Well, now you can commit adultery. Now you can lust. Now look what happened to America as we did it, because you don't want to be reminded or convicted by the sign of God. And if they could take, that's monuments. If they could remove every believer, they would do that. That's part of it. But that's showing where it's at. You don't want to be convicted by the light. The darkness doesn't want the light.
We will be right back after this special message.
These are my favorite lanterns and lights, and these are the bright lights.
Yes, the LED, very bright.
These are so bright that I don't want to look into it. When I showed it in the camera, it would brighten. You can see how bright that is.
These are literally my favorite products we've had. Honestly, with this lantern light and the flashlight both. Okay, these are incredible because they're solar fed. So anything that is solar powered is great because you don't have to plug it in, you don't have to look for batteries. So especially with the flashlight, you're always looking for batteries. That's the number one thing you're looking for. So with these, you're never gonna pick it up and have it be dead because there's always the sun that can power it back up. My favorite accessory about this is that it has a USB port. With these lanterns and flashlights, you can plug your phone into the USB port and have it charge wherever you're at. So if you've ever heard of a power bank, those things can get expensive. They charge your phone on the go, and they're wonderful to keep your phone alive wherever you're at or for trips and vacations. Well, with these, you can have a power bank and a flashlight.
I keep this one in my bathroom, and the light goes into here, into the solar panel right there. Now, if you want to get them going crazy, just put them in the sun in the window. But the ambient light will do it. But look what's on the back. I just unscrewed the back of this one.
And there it is, my favorite thing, the USB port, so you can
There's
charge
a USB
your phone
port.
or iPad right from the flashlight.
That's the super powered, so you don't run out of juice, and that's important, especially to young people.
And each of these flashlights, the regular flashlight and the lantern, they both come with their own USBs.
Yes.
Cables, yeah.
This has 2 levels of light. You have a smaller light, so that's fine for at night. Believe me, and then it's brighter there. And this could hang in your tent, but you got a light source.
And then
so
another
this is
thing,
called stand in the light offer.
Another thing that it does is if you close it all the way and you screw it like this, Then, there it is. Then you have a spotlight right there. So if you can use it as a normal flashlight and just have a spotlight on it.
Is that on the bright right now?
That is on the first level, so then I can click it, and then it goes even
now
brighter.
You got a really bright light.
Yeah, so you can use it as a flashlight, you can use it as a lantern, and a phone charger as well.
And so we used to offer this flashlight and this lantern, like Pastor said, for a donation of $76 to the ministry, and we completely ran out because the demand was so high. But we have them back in, and we're not offering for $76. We're offering them for $75, and it's going to come with a couple of special bonuses as well.
Yes, now these special bonuses aren't just normal flashlights. These are hybrid solar flashlights, which means that they are charged by their solar panels right on the side.
You get two
of the solar hybrid
these
flashlights.
solar hybrid flashlights that are just really nice.
They're incredible
But
flashlights.
now these are even brighter than these, and these are nice.
Yes.
But these stand in the light.
These were great before. These were already amazing. But then we got these flashlights in, and it took it to a whole nother level. Both of these are amazing solar hybrid flashlights. Then you get our new flashlights with the USB port and the lantern with the USB port as well, which are both power banks and then 2 solar flashlights together. That's an amazing offer for $75 to the ministry.
Is. Wow.
So make sure you call today before these run out again, because I know these will be flying off the shelves.
You can donate to this ministry by calling 1-888-988-1588 or go online to jimbakkershow.com. You can also write to Jim Bakker at P.O. Box 7330, Branson, Missouri 65615. Thank you for your continued prayers and support that helps keep us broadcasting around the world.
I've got so much I want to do.
This,
it's going to take us all
right
week.
here, this is just so powerful. What Rabbi's teaching us about the memory. That helps. I think all of us to understand what the enemy's really doing. The enemy of our soul is doing. The enemy of God's creation is doing. It is so powerful.
Do you know why I built Heritage USA? It was torn away from us. Why did I call it? I called it Heritage USA, a heritage in America. But I did this because I wanted your children, my children, to see that we have a heritage. You know, because people say, well, you know, I'm Pentecostal, we're a new thing. No, you're not. Pentecost goes back to the day of Pentecost 2,000 years ago. So, and it goes beyond that. You know, the Jews celebrate Pentecost.
That's right.
And I wanted to build something that young people and children, and they came, almost 7 million people came to Heritage USA the last year I was there. And we were building a monument, a place where we had 86 services, you know, a week at Heritage USA. And we built, we even took, you know, Billy Graham's house was being torn down, the one he got saved in when he was a boy. That was the only house left. So we moved it over to our place and rebuilt it, took it apart piece by piece, because I thought, you know, we just ought to remember our elders. We ought to remember the pioneering that what Billy Graham had done. And so today, that house has been moved from our heritage. It's moved now to the Billy Graham Library. So it's there as a remembrance. You know, the great people who supposedly, I don't know if I should say or not, you know, our country, they're written them off. They're like Columbus. We'll just take Columbus. Columbus is in many schools. It's taught that Columbus was an evil man.
That's right.
That he corrupted this land and hurt this land. Have you heard that?
Oh, yeah. And, you know, it's kind of like, well, let's go back to, you know, kind of one of the subtexts, and this is not about Columbus either, but subtext of that is let's go back to when we didn't have Christianity. Because they're viewing, well, Christianity corrupted the natives. And so let's go back to the way it was. That's part of that whole thing. That's why God says, you know, again and again in the Bible, he says, remember, do not forget. Teach this to your children. Have the Passover. When they ask you, what is this? Tell them what God did. Tell them what God did. So what they're trying to do is to wipe that out and even wipe away the ability of believers to pass on the gospel to their children. That's why they're attacking Christian schools at the same time. All part of the same thing.
But hardly anybody talks about there was Jewish people with Columbus.
Oh, yeah. That's part of the mystery.
And the Jews came to America, and now 50% of the Jews are in America, probably, my guess is. You know, and there's probably half of them are in Israel and half of them are in the United States, at least.
Yeah, that goes back to the it's one of the mysteries in the book, the Ninth of Ob mystery. It's okay. We don't have to go there yet. We don't have to go there yet. We don't have to go there yet.
Well, Jimmy, I just read that chapter this morning.
You did.
It's such an
That's one of my favorite chapters in the book.
Oh, yeah.
Is it hidden in here?
It's hidden in here.
This is the book. This is the book.
I can't see it yet.
He has never seen this book.
I've never seen the book.
But when I was reading that, I love your book.
Yeah. It's
Ninth of Ob.
One of the things in there,
the chapter, it's a whole.
Mysteries, there's a few chapters. There's a stream on that. But the Ninth of Ob mystery, that all these things happened again and again in history from God to the Jewish people on the Ninth of Ob. But there's another part of it that's called the 10th of Ob mystery, and that is that the day...
I haven't read that one yet.
You haven't got it. The day after this calamity happened, because on the 9th of Ob, not only was the temple destroyed, but the Jewish people lost their greatest refuge when the Spanish Empire, Ferdinand and Isabella, said, get out. And they're all on the ships. It's 9th of Ob. They had to get another calamity. It goes back to the temple where Jesus is weeping over this. They're again scattered to the nations. Jewish people are being killed, and they're going on the seas. And
really, that 9th of Ob is part of the founding of America then, because that's
Because on the next day, see, God is never finished. The next day, the 10th of Av, in those same harbors are 3 ships. The same place, the same week, right there in the same, is the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Same harbors of Spain, same act. They're right there as all the other ships are going. God is planting, while they're losing their greatest refuge, God is planning another refuge. It'll be the greatest refuge, for it will be America, and the same place. And so they set out, and so America's founding, the very purpose of it is linked to Israel, is linked to the mystery of God. And also, you see, people, not only have the Jewish people found their refuge here, but people from all nations have found their refuge, because when the Jewish people are blessed, all people are blessed. And so that's why most of us are here. But it all goes back to God, our existence, the mystery of America.
That's why I love, can I shake your hand again? I love having you here because you teach us our heritage.
Back in 1963 and 62, when they took out prayer and the Bible, you know that Kennedy went on the air and he went on to assure people it wasn't the end of the world. That's how different that America was, that there wouldn't be prayer in school. And then you think, okay, well, we'll just do that. No, what happened is, now look at what is in school. Now they're instructing children in the ways of immorality. It never stays as a vacuum. What happens when you drive out God, the enemy is always going to come in. When Israel put away God, the idols came in. I remember being in school, and this is also, I was in school after that decision, but I remember as a Jewish boy, I was taking French class in elementary school, and we were going around at Christmas singing Christmas carols in French to the school. Now this would be we'd be arrested now. I was Jewish, and they had me singing Christmas carols, Christmas songs.
Wow,
that's good.
Of course, I didn't know what I was saying, but still, you know.
Cute little kid that looked like Eliel, your son, I'm sure.
but I think also the enemy's trying to destroy the family unit.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Which, that causes something really bad to degrade. And I think also even the fact that they've started to get rid of Christmas and make it the holiday tree.
Right.
Or, and personally, I feel offended because when I go to my kids' school during Christmas time, I'll see a menorah, I'll see a Kwanzaa thing, I will see a Santa Claus, but the Christian thing can't be there.
It is like it's discrimination against Christians.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the reason this election, to me, there is certain things, and one of them, again, is the Supreme Court.
Absolutely.
If we do not put in godly people who will vote in favor of saving babies, who will preserve our Christianity, be able to I believe, honestly, and shortly after the election, without a miracle, if we go the wrong direction, the church is going to be in deep, deep trouble.
We will be right back after this special message.
This is $165. This is our deluxe bucket.
That's right.
Wow.
18 different foods in this bucket.
This is about one of every major food we have in our major buckets. But what are we gonna do this for?
Yes, this is incredible. So it's usually, like you said, $165 per bucket. But today it's going to be for $100 per bucket. Now,
that's a lot of food.
Another great way to think about this is usually we do $600 for a year for one person. Well, that's 4 buckets. So today, if you get 4 buckets, which is a year for you, it's only going to be $400 donation rather than $600 donation.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you said something about a year. Tell me again.
Yes. So, for example, we usually offer our year for you for a donation of $600 to the ministry. And 1 year of food is 4 buckets. But today, if you get 4 buckets for $100 a piece, that means you're getting an entire year of food for $400.
That's why they're going crazy.
Well, Zach, and then, while you're sitting down, since you're sitting down,
sit down, Dad. Take a seat.
We do the
take
time
a seat.
of trouble is 28 buckets instead of the discounted price of $3,500. Now you're going to pay $2,800. So you're getting another $700 of savings.
I'm going to need a break in a minute. I'm going to need a song. Now hear this. This is the cheapest year of the deluxe food I've ever offered. $400, you get a year of food.
That's right. And so that means you're saving.
When is this going to sell out? This could sell out any minute. So $400
for 1 year of
you
food.
get this.
You know, Pastor, the time of trouble offer, which is 7 years of food, 7 years of food, that's 28 buckets, is usually $3,500.
Which is discounted.
Which, think about it like this. If you order 28 buckets of food today, it'd only be $2,800 rather than $3,500.
Oh,
so if you
wow.
order the 7 years of food, which is 28 buckets, you'd be saving $700 today.
Call right now.
But think, if they order 7 years of food,
it would cost
if
them.
I didn't have it, I'd order it right now.
If they ordered 7 years of food, that's 28 buckets. 7 years of food would only cost you $2,800 today rather than the regular $3,500. So you'd be saving $700 by ordering 7 years of food today.
You can donate to this ministry by calling 1-888-988-1588 or go online to jimbakkershow.com. You can also write to Jim Bakker at P.O. Box 7330, Branson, Missouri 65615. Thank you for your continued prayers and support that helps keep us broadcasting around the world.
My fear is that Christian radio and television will be literally taken away because it offends people.
We are, we're watching. This is really, and this is the template. This is the biblical template. This is what happened to Israel. As they embraced immorality, they ended up persecuting the righteous. This is exactly what happened. Days of Elijah, the Harbinger templates, that's that template. If you call what is evil good, you will end up calling what is good evil. It's no accident. We're watching. Say, be tolerant for everything. Be tolerant. You got to be open-minded. You're a bigot if you're not open-minded. And then what happens on the other side? You cannot say this. You cannot say this. We want to stop you saying this. It's the most intolerance we've ever experienced.
Right.
It's not an accident, and it's not an accident that we're seeing more examples of persecution now than we ever have before. People losing their jobs for doing nothing, for just holding what. It's part of the picture of where we are heading. We have not stopped. The template has not stopped. We are, if anything, we're accelerating away from God. And the Bible says that's an acceleration to judgment.
Our time's getting away on this broadcast, this program, and I really want to introduce your book today, The Unveiling. That's the revelation, I guess, but the revealing of the book of mysteries. What is the book of mysteries? Why did you call it the book of mysteries?
Because It's a book of mysteries. Well, that's the only part that's not a mystery. Because I felt, first of all, I felt that believers, we need to be strengthened now. Mm-hmm. They need to be strengthened. Mm-hmm. This is going to be very challenging times, tough times, and there's so much of God. There's so much to be revealed. There's no end to the mysteries of God. There's no end to the revelations of God. So I wanted to do so I was just led to put so much. So if the Harbinger was the opening of one mystery, and the Shemitah was opening of another, this is the opening of hundreds of mysteries. And the biggest challenge I had was it's almost like, I'm not saying but almost every page you could have a book on it. So the biggest challenge I had was, how do I get this down? It's already twice as many, words than the Harbinger, but how do I get this down to do that? So it exists on several levels, and that is that on one level, it's a book of mysteries. You could read it right through. You could look at the index and this mystery, that mystery, that mystery, hundreds of them. Secondly, it can be done as a devotional because it also has it's 365. So it's several things. And the other was, I returned to the format of the Harbinger in this sense, that it's revealed through a story. It's revealed that a man goes into the desert, a traveler, a disciple. He meets a man called the teacher. And every day the teacher takes him on an odyssey, on mountaintops, in caves, and in chambers of scrolls and mystical things. And every day he shares with him another mystery of God. And the disciple writes it down. And so it's like the recording of the disciple. So because every day there was another mystery, that's why so the person who's reading it is kind of taken on the journey, but it's also taking every day. So there are things in here, there are mysteries about the end times in here. There are mysteries on heaven, mysteries on changing your life, mysteries of time and space, mysteries of history, mysteries of every possible kind. And there's many things that, as far as I know, have never been revealed here before. So it is so packed. The biggest challenge I had was, how do I get this into one thing? And by God's grace, it happened. So
it happened.
Yeah. It sure did.
It happened. And I really want to unveil the book.
It's the first time I'm seeing a real book.
I want to give, and I got some more questions to ask you, because what you're saying, my big pet peeve about books is when they're full of filler.
Right.
I call it filler, puffing stuff, And I want to read all meat. I want to read the bottom line. I want to know where I'm going, and that's you really packed it in. It is packed. Truly. Packed.
Yeah, full. Every time I had like three pages for one. I had to get to one page, every time.
And it's a very, 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 very unusual looking book as well. And so I want to give you the first copy.
Thank you.
Here we go. Rabbi seeing his book for the first time.
There it is. The Book of Mysteries by Jonathan Cahn.
What do you think?
Thank you. Oh, I like it.
Do you like it?
I know the content, but I have never.
You know
the first book I have. It's the first book I've seen.
Look at the pages. Did you look at the edge?
Yes.
Can you see this edge? You got to get it close up there. Yeah. See that? They're like something found in an old trunk.
Yeah, the pages are like of an old book.
It's awesome.
Like you're discovering a book.
They're almost like they're different sizes. It'd be like something a really, really old book.
Yeah, it's interesting. They did that, and I don't think they realized that in the book, one of the places the teacher takes the disciple is to the chamber of books, and there are books that look just like this, but they didn't realize that when they wrote it. So when they did the cover, but it's I wanted to do it as if it was a treasure chest. That you're opening up the deep mysteries of God, and this is the first time I've seen. And also at the end of the book, at the end of every mystery, there is a mission. The teacher gives the disciple, okay, now don't just get this in your mind and your heart, but get it. This can change your life if you take the mystery and apply it to your life. So he records a mission as the teacher giving it, but it's really for the person reading it, that every day there is every mystery has a way to apply the mystery to change your life.
It does.
Every one of them.
Every single one.
Yeah.
Rabbi, this book is so phenomenal. Actually, honey, this is yours that you've been reading. That's mine I've been reading. I gave you the wrong book, sorry. But
I'm hoping
It is.
Everyone here will take one home with you because we have them here.
You want one, trust me.
The publisher,
I love it.
Because we're taping for a later date when it goes on the air.
Yes.
You folks will be the first ones in America to be able to get this book.
You will be. Absolutely.
And they're here. They're here.
That's absolute.
And I hope you'll get them, and I hope everybody watching will get them. And Rabbi is going to sign them for the people here, so that's what you get for coming here.
That's right. You'll get a book signing with Rabbi.
But don't you love these pages, Rabbi? Have you seen these pages? Look at how they are. Look. They're like, it's like I found an old treasure book.
It is.
A book that's an old history book. You know, historic book.
In this book, there are 365 mysteries, one for each day of the year. So you read it, like you open it up, it says day 1, day 2, day 3, 365 days. And I kind of bounced around. I was reading it, and I've already read about 30 days worth throughout the book, and I had like this internal conflict because it was like I wanted to keep reading the days, but I wanted to not keep reading because I wanted to save them at the same time.
I had the same thing happen to me, Zach. I'm like,
no, I did. It happened to me too. I mean, this morning I really dug into the book because I was coming to the show, and I've been reading different pages.
Yes.
And I was trying to discipline myself, and so this morning I get fed my soul.
Yes, it does.
I mean, I'm not fed on a lot of junk. I watch a lot of Christian radio and television, on the car coming in and all. And I'm telling you, there's so much fluff and puff, as I say. But to find something solid that challenges me.
Yes.
And I have the biggest problem, if you're going to use this as a devotional, is to not sneak and read ahead.
You can read it either way.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
It's made to exist on every level, on all those levels, but you can read it either way.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that really there's so much packed that it's hard, to digest it. To keep going and keep going without digesting it, but also applying it. But you can do both. You can read it and then you can take it back and apply it.
That's awesome.
But
So we're the first ones that you can actually get the book. It's a hardback book. It's not a little thin paperback book. It is something you'll keep in your library forever. And the Book of Mysteries. And we hope you'll order it today.
Amen.
And if you want to get one, most of our books we do at $20 as support of the ministry. The book is actually retails for more than $20, actually. So it's a little less than retail. And we want you to have it.
And we even have a baker's dozen offer.
Good.
So if you get, you're going to get 13 for a donation of $200 to the ministry. So it's really like kind of getting 10 and getting 3 for free.
And that way you could use this. This could be another piece of your Christmas shopping that would be done now.
Absolutely.
And people are going to need this amazing, amazing book. Can I open to page 1? This morning, as I was reading, the thought came to me, this book wakes your brain up.
That's what it does. That's it.
I've been seeing so much political things we'll talk about tomorrow.
Right.
But my brain is fried. It really is. I'm at the point, between the Olympics and all the other things we have on the air all the time, and then all this news, and the arguing and the hate going back and forth. To read this was, honestly, it was like my brain was woke up. Did you have a formula of how this mystery unfolds? There is a theme, I know, because there's a pattern. Could you explain it to us?
The narrative?
Yeah, how this book is.
Well, the first few pages.
It's very different, different and unique.
The first pages don't have number; they have Roman numerals on them but they're not an introduction. They are part of the story.
Right.
But we wanted to keep the mystery. The page number for each one is the day. So then there's something at the end too. Right. It ends. But the first one is the encounter of the traveler, the pilgrim, with this man called the teacher.
Yes.
And just like in the Harbinger, you see the conversation between the two. And
that's under the beginning.
That's under the beginning, yes, in the first part.
It's like a prologue or something.
Yeah, but it's really part of the thing. We want to, So then the teacher, the man speaks, well, why are you on this journey? Where are you going? And then he invites him to come into the desert with him and other students and there's other teachers to spend 1 year starting there with the teacher. So then, and he lives on a place there, and then every day the teacher either comes to his room or they meet, in the chambers, and the other thing, and each day it's the back and forth. It's the revealing the teacher in one page. The teacher, and again, I could have done almost a book on each page, on each mystery.
Sure.
But that's what. So he reveals that to him. And also the other thing is that I didn't realize this. There are several times, because I also geared it that if you did it at the beginning, you can start it any time of the year, because it's not. It doesn't give you a date; it gives you a day. But if you start it in January, not that you have to, But the interesting thing is that it will follow that if you go, let's say, around Passover, there'll be a thing on that. If you go on Pentecost, Shavuot, the 9th of Av, you'll have the thing on the 9th of Av. But of several of them, I didn't plan, and several of them turned out to be on the exact day without planning. So they're the exact day. I only found out at the end that several of them are on the day. It speaks about this on the day that it happened. So
that's what God does with you. That's how He works with you, Rabbi. We've been around you too long to not recognize that, and it was kind of like, we were so blessed and fortunate to go to Israel with you, Rabbi. And when I read the beginning, I'm like, that's what Rabbi did with us. He took us out to in the desert. Remember, we were wandering in the wilderness.
You hear his voice in your head as you're reading it, and then you're thinking, wow, this is like Rabbi. He's just like showing you and saying, this is the mystery behind this, and look over here. This is what happened over here, and this is the mystery behind that. It's literally just the same.
It's true.
You can actually, I just looked at, because you opened that up. These have all the mysteries in them.
Look
so
at that.
you don't, not only do you have to, you can also read it through. You can also say, I want to look at just this mystery or that mystery. So these are hundreds of mysteries here. So
365.
Yeah. So you can actually, that's another way of reading it as well.
Could you go to page 1 with me?
Okay.
Of the mysteries, day 1.
Okay.
It's called Infinity in a Jar. It starts out, was morning. The teacher came to my room holding a little clay jar. How does that come about? How does that form in your brain? You literally see the teacher coming in, not bringing a glass jar, but bringing something from the Bible days, a clay jar.
Yes, I saw, and they also live kind of like the Bible, And one of the things is that, I knew the mysteries that had to be revealed, but each time I said, Lord, give me, and they don't all have it, but give me a picture, or give me what's going to happen, how are they going to do it? This is one, another one, he's in a room and there's a menorah and they're lighting it, or another, there's so many things, or he goes on a caravan journey, or there's in the desert, there are tent dwellers, there are people who live in the desert, and in that camp, they witnessed the mystery of the bride and groom because they're living as in the Bible. So some of the mysteries are just that's it for that day.
Yeah.
But other mysteries are going to be developing throughout the book. The marriage and the bridegroom is going to come to. It's going to come from beginning to end. To get to the end, it's the end of the marriage. It's the wedding celebration. Other ones is a mystery of the 8th day, which is going to build up. There's the mystery of end times. So some of them are going to be streams that are going to come again and again until they're going to build up until the end.
I think the 365th one, the last one, is powerful, powerful, powerful. It's called The Two Shall Be One.
Yes.
Is that a powerful, powerful, powerful lesson?
Brilliant.
And it's not just the marriage. It is God in us.
Yes.
Our marriage in us and God in us. It is amazing. It's amazing.
And the one before it, honey, in case you wanted me to read it, but for later, maybe another day, we'll have reading time with Lori. But Home, it's called Home, and that one is just like everyone.
Heaven.
When you read it, you're gonna get it.
As you get to the end, there are more things about heaven because it's coming to the end. It's coming to the final mysteries.
Okay, let's go back. I want to be.
Good.
This is the first chance anyone in the world has to order this book, to get the book. And we'll ship it immediately. We have them in stock here. And So if you want to order them, just give me a call, 1-888-988-1588. Tell the operator, I want to order Rabbi's new book. Or you can go to our website, and there you can just push buttons, as you know how to do.
Just go to jimbakkershow.com.
And, or you can write us and order them. And remember, if you want to do this, this is, if you get the Baker's dozen, that's the lowest price below all the discount houses and everything else that you can get that. So you can get 13 of the books.
That's right.
For a
gift.
For a donation of only $200 to the ministry. And so that's actually going to be cheaper than $14 a book.
But you're going to give a gift for a wedding. This would be, would this be a good wedding present? This would be amazing. And I'll tell you what, when they read the two shall be one and all the things about the wedding, God's obsessed with weddings. Isn't he? I mean, the wedding is all about God and us.
The whole Bible.